Adam, really appreciate you taking the time to share your insights on data quality and also your experience with Monte Carlo. Maybe just to start out, could you tell us a little bit about the Choozle advertising platform and its big recent update?
Yep. Yeah, so Choozle is basically a advertising technology platform where we give ad buying capabilities into small and medium businesses. We recently had updated our reporting stack to be able to bring that reporting data in a lot more richness around the types of things that people are buying and bring that into our many thousands of advertisers that work on the platform. Including in that, or included with that, was a capability where we're able to connect into an advertiser's other data sources. So things like media that they're buying off of our platform or Google Analytics for measurement. And so we started to really see, a stronger need for data visibility in a way that, we just didn't have before.
That's awesome. And I've heard that the update got awesome reviews from your customers. How did scaling in this way impact your actual data operations?
Yeah, and we saw an immediate uptick in terms of customer satisfaction. I mean, when we did this release, we got a lot of really great feedback that people were using the reporting more, they were relying on it, it gave them better insights. The biggest issue that we saw was not in the kind of like core reporting where it was coming from a few static sources, but really in that capability where somebody can connect into their outside sources. So we don't necessarily know, because it's a self-service platform, when somebody's created one of these connections. We're working with a partner called Fivetran that really powers this for us. And so when somebody creates one of these connections, we actually see that show up as a new schema and new tables inside of our database. And those new tables and all of that data are things that we need to have monitoring on, and it needs to be heavily automated. And so that's really where, we were looking at that problem of fragmentation and sprawl, of tables coming in and out that we didn't necessarily control. And that's where we looked at Monte Carlo and found that this was going to be a really great solution for our monitoring.
And it's great to hear. And what were some of the main things you were looking for once you started looking for observability solutions?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was really kind of like a tight integration into our tech stack. We wanted something that wasn't going to be a lot of work to get up and running and get value from. And specifically, we use Snowflake as our cloud data warehouse, and the integration that Monte Carlo has with both Snowflake and with Looker meant that we were able to bring this online, really very quickly. And frankly, just I've used Snowflake for a very long time, and now having seen it working together with Monte Carlo, I don't really see a time where I would create or manage a Snowflake warehouse without some data observability sitting on top of it. And frankly, Monte Carlo was just absolutely easy to get integrated.
Awesome. Makes me feel warm, fuzzy to hear that. I'm curious, what's your experience with Monte Carlo been like so far, just kind of overall?
Yeah, we really immediately got to value. We were able to get the integration set up. Literally, it was a couple of engineers on the call with your team, and we spent about an hour, and then a week later, the machine learning had been trained, and we were getting really high quality alerts. And so our time investment to get it set up was a few people for an hour. What I really liked kind of in the initial onboarding was we connected the alerting in through Slack. And so that's always been kind of a key component of the way that our technology teams work. So being able to see those alerts, right there in team channels gave me really great visibility as a leader of the team, but it also, gives us the ability to have case management sitting right there. So when somebody picks up an issue, when they start to investigate it, as they resolve it, the whole team sees it. And so it really kind of gives us that visibility and that accountability where, we can build a culture around urgency, around accountability, because we're just not seeing a lot of false alarms.
It's great to hear. I know sometimes it can be like kind of easy to talk about value at a really high level. I'm curious to hear, have there been really specific situations or events that are top of mind for you where Monte Carlo was able to help prevent or help you get ahead of a certain data quality issue that would have really adversely hurt the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So recently we were bringing a new stream of media into our production stack. And there was a field that we had where, we use it essentially as a primary key. And so we expect that to be not null basically all of the time. When we brought in this new source of media, we missed a field on that one. And so we started getting a handful of campaigns in where we were getting null values in that field. So Monte Carlo immediately picked that up and said we were getting 0.2% null values on a column that has always been not null. And so, what that did was that gave us the visibility literally as soon as the change went in, right? I mean, we knew about that issue, right, I would say within an hour of having made the change, and then we were able to address it. So, that's the kind of value that we really get from Monte Carlo, is being able to see in detail all the way down to, individual columns in any table, and when they've gone out of a normal distribution of SKU or data quality. But I've frankly never seen a tool that was able to give us that level of visibility.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. Okay, I've just got a couple other things I wanted to ask you. One of the things that we've seen is pretty much every organization out there experiences some degree of data downtime. It's kind of inevitable. And I think it's because I always say like data is a little bit like fashion, like it's never done. It's always changing, and therefore stuff always breaks. But how has Monte Carlo helped Choozle reduce its data downtime so much and reach this kind of very lofty level of data reliability?
Yeah. Really, it's in and around the visibility. The way that we've looked at it, up against kind of our legacy approach into the new approaches, we actually think we're seeing about an 88% reduction in data downtime. And, fundamentally what that amounts to is when we see data issues come in, we're able to address them much quicker. So if before we didn't have this data visibility, we might have had a data quality issue that was impacting, say, for instance, like a handful of campaigns, where that might have gone undetected for a period of time, sometimes weeks, usually not longer than that. But when you have that kind of a data issue, a lot of times the distance between when it was introduced and when you actually find it to fix it means that you have all of that downtime, but you also have a longer development cycle to figure out how to fix it, right? Like if you'd make a deployment and then you immediately see the break, then you know exactly what caused it. And so you can fix it that much faster. If you come back to SQL after you haven't looked at it for a month and then try to wrap your head around it, like it just takes time to get back there. And so it's really been, that kind of like cognitive awareness of a developer being able to fix it closer to when it was broken, and then also being able to see it that much faster, so we're able to address it.
So those are amazing and really exciting results. And it seems like your team has just accomplished a lot. It's super impressive. What would your advice for other data professionals be?
Yeah, I think it's it really is around kind of embracing the modern data technology stack. Decades ago, I was responsible for running data warehouses on-prem. We had large Oracle warehouses, and it was frankly really hard to innovate, right? Like you would come to a problem and the answer would be, well, I've got to buy more storage or a bigger server or license more, right? And we had all of these challenges. Now, when you look at technologies like Snowflake, we can encourage our developers to just be that much more innovative, and really be kind of like unafraid of breaking things, right? Because of the nature of the elasticity of the cloud, you can you can try something, you can experiment, and you're not going to break your production. So really, it's that iteration and experimentation and being okay with it. And then it's really the same with Monte Carlo, right? Like the time that it took us to experiment and see if we could get value out of it was a very minimal investment, right? There was almost no risk in us trying. It was literally 3 people's salary for an hour. So it's kind of those things where really focusing on the value and experimentation, because we can do we can do things in a world where there's just less risk of decision making of trying, because we're not buying things in huge blocks anymore, like we might have been in the past.
Adam, thank you so much for your insight. I know we greatly appreciate it, and the data community more broadly appreciates it as well. So thank you again.
Yep.